Welcome to the Telegraph's Lighting the Road to London 2012. This week we're in Sheffield. Over the past week, the torch has weaved its way down through Manchester, then travelled over to Leeds before reaching Nottingham. Today, we're at the Sheffield Children's Hospital, where the torch will be passing through later on this evening. We're about to head inside to see how excited the kids are, speak to a local scout troop and a scout leader who's been nominated to carry the torch. But first, we caught up with the British Olympic hero of Beijing 2008, Sir Chris Hoy, ahead of his run with the torch in Manchester. We asked him how a young Scottish boy caught the cycling bug and became a champion.
I got into cycling through BMX racing when I was about 7 years of age, and I just loved riding my bike. You know, that was just this sense of freedom. I think all kids have that, you know, when you get your first bike and you're able to travel under your own steam and to, you know, the sense of speed, the sense of freedom, it was just amazing. But that coupled with the competitive element and the kind of adrenaline you get as well on a BMX track, it was so appealing at that age. And eventually I started travelling all around the country, all around the UK, and eventually even Europe and beyond, until I was about 14 or 15, and then I got into other forms of cycling and eventually track racing. And it's, you know, my mum and dad, if it hadn't been for their support, there's no question I wouldn't be here right now as an Olympic medalist, Olympic gold medalist, and being able to carry this amazing torch. It's impossible to be able to thank everybody out there that's helped me along the way, but there have been literally hundreds of thousands of people that have been involved in my whole journey, from being a 7-year-old kid as a BMXer to an Olympic champion now.
Chris was asked to nominate somebody that the wording was motivated him, and he nominated me from the whole of England, so it's a fantastic honour. And you know, the fact I've known Chris since he started cycling. I was the national coach for British cycling, and so I've known him right the way through his career, and for this to happen is just wonderful.
It's not about gold medalists going and carrying the flame, it's about the local people who have been a big influence in their community, getting recognised and getting supported by their people that they've helped, you know, people that, like I say, you've never heard of before, that are now getting a chance to be thanked for all their hard and tireless work.
I can't wait till the torch comes. I'm quite excited. We've been doing a lot at school about it.
When I was well enough to go to school, I went to the fencing club, so I'm looking forward to seeing how we're doing at fencing.
We're coming to the hospital once a week, and every week we have a theme. So this week, obviously, our theme will be the Olympics. So they just love it that they can have something to do. It's just a way of giving something back.
Andrew Watson, a Lloyd's TSB torchbearer, is a scout leader in Sheffield, nominated by a family of one of the scouts in his troop. His contribution to the Scouts and other social events was outstanding, and he is seen as a real hero to the community.
It's such an honour to be doing this, and I think I kind of represent this award for not just myself, but for all the other Scout leaders, guide leaders, community leaders around the country who actually just give their time without any thought of reward. I always call it, this is what David Cameron should call a big society, because this is the big society in action. People just doing things because they like to do them to help other people. And what you can see around us here is just one of the many scouting activities that take place in Sheffield. Scouting takes place across ages 6 to 20 across the entire city, but this group of volunteers here actually give their time as well to create scouting activities for children who are in the Children's Hospital in Sheffield, and so they get some taste of normality during their stay here, and can just be kids and enjoy the fun, challenge and adventure that scouting gives.
This is Connor. We've known Connor for about 4 years now, because Connor's always coming in and out of hospital. Say hello, Connor. And Connor's now 16, so we know him really well. But Connor doesn't talk, but he communicates with us really well. We've been running 5 years in September, and we've had 1,488 children pass through us. Some we only see once, but children like Connor, who we've just met, we see him probably every 3 months when he comes in for a couple of weeks for his treatment.
The Olympic ethos and scouting ethos is very similar. It's about doing your best, trying harder and being better. So the two things, plus all the sport, which is fantastic for kids, that's what scouting and the Olympics link together so well.
Over the next week, the torch will travel from Nottingham down to Birmingham, across to Leicester, over to Norwich and then into Ipswich.